All righty, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is Tuesday, February 24th, almost to the end of the shortest month of the year, but it is the lull of lull seasons, folks. The only thing we got coming up for football is we got the prospect, the NFL Combine coming up. Definitely excited for that. I've been doing a lot of my deep dives into all these prospects just to look up and research. Of course, a bunch of dudes that the Packers will never draft. I'll never get my wishes come true. Iman's back this week. Iman, how we doing, man? What's going on? We missed you last week.
Hey, you see Ice Cube. Today was a good day. So,
Hey.
I'm back. I traveled home because my mom's birthday was the day. So, getting back home. And then it snowed. Like, this snow came out of
Oh,
nowhere.
did you catch some of that?
A little bit. Like, we didn't have school today. So, it wasn't it wasn't as much as it was a couple weeks ago, but it rained and then it snowed. So, it was like a lot of ice out here. But it wasn't much in Maryland. Virginia got way more than we got. So, yeah, it's like snow. Just go away, please. Just go away. But I'm back. And I'm excited. Sports is still at an all-time high. Basketball is ramping up.
It's true.
Baseball's ramping up.
We kind of had a
great weekend of boxing too.
Oh, boxing. I definitely missed that one. I was going to say that, we got some March basketball in February and college basketball this weekend. I was kind of going through a bunch of that stuff and watching a bunch of clips, kind of caught a little bit, but Big 12 had a crazy weekend.
Yeah.
Shook up the whole thing. We'll get into it in the top 10 and 10 a little bit, but that was something. And obviously, St. John's is on a heater right now. Some things are on OKC. Yeah, basketball's up. Like I said, NFL's in a lull, but the rest of the sports world was kind of trying to make you forget that this is a lull period because there was a lot of stuff going on. So excited to crack into it in the top 10 and 10. And why don't we just start right there? Why don't we just get into the top 10 and 10 as we do every Tuesday on the show? So number one, you already know it's about USA winning their Olympic gold for the first time since 1980, men's and women's. USA. You know it. It was 46 years to the day since the miracle on ice, and we all know the name now. Jack Hughes. That name's going to go down in history. Getting that goal in overtime, a minute and 41 seconds into overtime as they defeat Canada. Their only sport, the only thing Canada's got going for them sports-wise, and we just had to steal their thunder, beating them 2-1 to win the gold. I mean, this is after Quinn Hughes on the USA team scored an OT winner in the semis a couple days right before Jack went and got his. The reaction was obviously insane. It was one of those iconic sports moments where you're alive to see it. It's happening in real time. One of these things that's going to be talked about for the next 50, 75 years. And of course, Jack Hughes, I'm sure you saw the picture, the toothless smile picture, right?
What a great guy.
Right, dude. Instantly becomes an iconic sports photo after that one. Just a generational thing. The USA's goalie had 41 saved. He was named the tournament's best goalkeeper. Sidney Crosby didn't actually play for Canada, which a lot of fans were debating about, maybe Canada, we would have won if he was just playing type of thing. And then, of course, at the very end, the I'm not crying, you're crying moment is when USA, they skated around with the number 13 jersey of Johnny Gaudreau, the guy who on the team would have been on the team, but was killed in a tragic accident earlier. And then, like I said, not to forget the women's team as well. They won their gold as well. Also against Canada. We just really belts the ass on Canada. Hillary Knight scores the late equalizer to force OT. And then America completed the comeback. And Knight herself became the all-time leading goal and point scorer in U.S. women's Olympic hockey history. So shout out her. What's next?
Hey, it's like the ghost of Kendrick Lamar when it comes to us versus Canada. We beat him in baseball. Now we beating him in hockey. Goodness freaking grief. Drake is probably home mad. All right, number 2, man, I felt so bad because we just talked about Michigan jumping into number 1 spot in the NCAA. We do it every time. Duke knocked off number 1 Michigan at a neutral site up in my area in Washington, D.C. And woof, every time you look at a Duke game, those tickets are crazy. Seats were going for $6,000, something I can't afford. Duke becomes the 5th different team to hold the top spot this season, what makes March Madness even more exciting. Cam Boozer, who is considered top 3 draft pick coming up this year, finished with 18 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 blocks. Plays just like his dad. He scored 7 of the Duke's final 9 points, including the dagger 3 with under 2 minutes left. And this was Duke's 11th win over AP number 1 teams in program history. Could Duke make the run? I think they got the team to do it. They have the superstar to do it, but we'll see once that tournament start. And we're going to do a Chalk Talk bracket setup, and we'll see who will win this year. So, yep.
Oh, yeah. I love that. All right, sticking with college basketball, it was like I alluded to, it was a massive weekend for the Big 12, getting with some upsets, a lot of things reshaking. Again, like I said earlier, it really gave March vibes in February here with the Big 12, and no one should feel safe at the top of the conference. So kind of run through what happened. This one, the first one, not really an upset, but at the same point, Arizona took down number 2 Houston 73-66. They flip-flopped in the ratings. So Houston goes down to 5 and Arizona jumps from 5 to 2. It was actually Houston's first home loss of the season and just their second home loss since joining the Big 12 in 2023. And this is with Arizona made this win without Koa Pete or another star, Anthony De La Rosa, who he came in then and actually led off the bench with 22 points. And then you got unranked Cincinnati. This was a big upset. Unranked Cincinnati put some whoop ass on number 8 Kansas, 84-68, and it's Kansas' first home loss to an unranked opponent this year. Cincinnati got a career high from Mustafa Time. I don't know how to say his last name, but he had 28 points. Good for him. And then number 23 BYU upsets number 6 Iowa State, of course, behind AJ. How do you say his name again? Help me out.
AJ Debinsa?
Debinsa, yeah. AJ Debinsa. Every time I see it, I was like, I can't remember how that's said. But he's a phenom. Again, him and Booz are going to be probably top 2-3 picks in this draft. He went for 29 and 10, almost had the triple-double. And then UCLA, kind of Big Ten here, pulled off one of the more viral plays of the weekend when Donovan Dent went coast to coast to beat number 10 Illinois at the buzzer in overtime. And then I just got to throw in, like I said, St. John's is ripping on a 13-game win streak right now after a slow start. But Patino's got those boys right. They only got one loss in Big East play. So crazy, crazy weekend in college basketball right now. Love it. Love it. What's next?
All right, what's next? Celtic embarrassed the Lakers on the night that they're honoring Pat Riley and building a statue for my guy, an 8-foot, 500-pound bronze statue of Pat Riley, who was just placed outside of the crypto arena. And Pat Riley was the head coach of the Showtime Lakers in the 80s. He won 4 championships. He was in 7 NBA finals of his 9 seasons with the Lakers. What a great coach. But it was super embarrassing. The Lakers couldn't find energy to get past the Boston Celtics, where Jaylen Brown, who is on an MVP run, I don't care what anybody says, Jaylen Brown should be in consideration for the MVP in the NBA. Also adding 30 points was Payton Pritchard. Can you believe this? He scored 30 points on only 14 attempts. That is insane. And what I hate about it, because he came off the bench Sunday, but he started over 40 games, so he's not going to be considered for 6th man of the year this year, which is whack, because we know he's a bench guy, but he won't be able to win that award because he started over 40 games. So, yeah. And listen, the Lakers are going to need help because clearly Luka's not enough. When Austin Reeves not playing well, they struggle to score. Shout out to LeBron James surpassing 43,000 career points, which is an insane number that I think will never, not in my lifetime, my kids' lifetime, and then their kids' lifetime will ever be broke, because it's just going to take availability, years of domination. Like 43,000 points is crazy. And to think he may play 2 more years, go back to Cleveland, so he may end up maybe with 46,000 before he's all said and done. But look like the Lakers will be a first-round descent. And can the Celtics come out of the East this year? I don't know. Jason Tatum might want to come back in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, now that you're talking about LeBron James and that 43,000 real quick, it's just like, I'm thinking about the math on this one. It's going to take somebody to play at number 1 in the world basketball for 25 years, starting at the age of 18, barely missing any games, never having a down year. I truly believe LeBron James' scoring record will never be topped. And like you said, the world will be over first before LeBron James. Yeah, it's an insane number.
Insane
man.
number.
Insane. All right. Hey, I'm adding this one to our Jokic versus Shaq debate, by the way. This next one. Jokic, he's healthy again. He posts up monster 35, 20, and 10 line, but somehow those Nuggets still lost to the Warriors, which is crazy. I mean, if the Nuggets can't win with Jokic doing that and Jamal Murray playing at a great level right now, I don't know what else you need. But like I said, he got busy on him. It was the 6th time in his career that he put up 35, 20 in a 10 game. And it's now trails Wilt Chamberlain by 6. No, sorry, 5. He's 5 behind Wilt Chamberlain, who holds the record of those type of games with 11. Golden State held Denver to only 2 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, while they themselves hit 21 3-pointers as a team. Moses Moody had 23. Al Horford with 22 and a career-high 6 threes after he was traded earlier this year. DeAnthony Melton has 20 points, and each player scored 20 points that got in there for the Warriors, it seemed like. So everyone was cooking. And get this, another little stat I found is Jokic is on pace to potentially lead the NBA in both rebounds and assists. He's somehow, again, he missed times. He is 2nd in the NBA in assists right now in 7 less games than Cade Cunningham, who is in 1st place. He's really not been that far behind. And, of course, Wilt Chamberlain, the only player to ever lead in assists and rebounds in a season, but I've still never seen the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game film, so I don't believe anything that gets said about Wilt Chamberlain, if I'm being quite honest with you. But yeah, insane if Jokic ends up leading the NBA in assists and rebounds as a center. I'm adding that to the Shaq Jokic debate as well. So what's next?
All right, next up, the Knicks had a great weekend, being able to pull off 2 wins, starting Saturday with an 18-point comeback win over my Rockets. Oh, shit. Anyway,
KD was cooking though.
I mean, KD had 30, but we need a point guard bad. It's just we play too much one-on-one basketball, not enough just motion. And when the game's on the line, we need somebody to just get us in sets, which neither here nor there. But Knicks, good weekend. Jalen Brunson only had 2 points at halftime against the Rockets, and then came back in the fourth quarter. They were down 18. And then Brunson started to go 4 for 4 and on the tear. But the one thing that I tell people, the Knicks are better when Cat is getting the ball in his hand and he's scoring. He had 25 Saturday and I think another 25, 10, and 5 on Sunday against Chicago. In order, and I know a lot of Knicks fans will not believe this, in order for y'all to even play in the championship, Cat is going to have to be the number one for 3 quarters. And then Jalen Brunson is going to have to close games out. But you're going to have to find Cat the ball early and often in the first 3 quarters if the Knicks want to win. Clearly, the Rockets is a top team in the Western Conference. It's right there in y'all face what y'all need to do to win. So, Knicks, if you want to win, get Cat the ball because he had 2 fabulous games this weekend. Like I said, an 18-point comeback win over the Rockets and a win over Chicago Sunday.
Hey, let Cat dominate and then let Brunson cook in the fourth quarter. I mean, dude's been so clutch in the fourth quarter. Even if he's sucking. Yeah, I think just goes from ice cold to ice in the veins. All right, sticking with basketball, Jalen Green hits a double OT buzzer despite shooting 6 for 26 on the night. The Suns go on to beat the Magic 113 to 110 with that shot. Hey, it turns out all the guy needed was 1.1 second to have more impact on the game than the rest of the 4 quarters, essentially, all combined. In the effort, Banchero put up 26, just missed a triple-double, forced double OT with a big boy dunk after Orlando went on to erase an 11-point fourth quarter deficit. And on the Suns side, as nice as it is that Jalen Green had this awesome buzzer beater shot, they're racking up bodies on the shelf right now. Dylan Brooks, stud defender, breaks his hand, had to leave after 7 minutes. Grayson Allen had a nice game, but he was playing through his own injury situation, and now multiple Suns were leaving that game bruised up as well, adding that Devin Booker is hurt. The depth ain't looking so good right now, so their health is going in the wrong direction as the season winds into playoff time and crucial games that we have to win here for the sake of playoff seeding, and teams just want to try to make the playoffs at this point. So Phoenix, some things to overcome here if they want to keep this going. What's next?
Hey, OKC with no MVP, with no Jalen Williams, end up stopping the Cavaliers on their 7-game winning streaks. this weekend, 121, 113. I mean, like I told you, I don't know who has a deeper team than OKC right now, but if you don't have your MVP, you don't have Jalen Williams and still can pull off a win against a quality team, goodness grief. It is just give him the trophy right now. OKC had Isaiah Joe drop 22, 5 steal. Case and Wallace was hooping 20 and 10. Chet, which I don't know why Wemby doesn't like this guy, because I like Chet's game, man. I'm telling you, Chet is a great value KD to me. But Chet went off with 17 and 15. They had 7 Thunder players in double figures. That's without their 2 superstars. What a deep team. The Cleveland Cavaliers been balling, but listen, when you go up against a team who are defense first, OKC, that's the best thing about their team. Their defense first. So they were able to hold Cleveland down, and OKC is 43-14 right now. Listen, I just don't see any team in the West and any team in the East, if they have their superstars, stopping them when it comes playoff time. I mean, I hate to say it right now because I'm a Rockets fan, but OKC will run it back this year and win another championship.
They're beating teams with their B league. They're beating the top team in the East with their B team right now. It's crazy what they're doing with what's on the bench. Caruso hurt. Crazy. Over to baseball really quick. MLB Spring Training is officially in full swing. No pun intended, but maybe. So here's kind of everything you need to know in a nutshell after the first weekend in spring training. The automated ball strike challenge system is officially a go. A little bit of stats on the ABS system to kick this off. It was 13 of 23 challenges were successfully overturned across 5 games, with just under 5 challenges per game happening and almost 3 calls being overturned per game. So it's doing something and it's making a difference. It actually did cost the pitcher a perfect inning, though, on a reversal. And that kind of is a huge bummer. But obviously, there's still going to be a lot of debate with this one. Is this the future? Is this what it needs to be? Versus is there just needs to be some human element? And there's, of course, some players out there saying there's some pitchers who deserve certain spots around a strike zone that other players don't. Classic superstar type of, getting a call in the NBA or a rough in the passer call, depending on how good you are as a quarterback. So one of those type of things was not a unanimous vote by players to implement that. Yankees, big time Yankees. They gave it to the Tigers 20-3 in a game. Aaron Judge homered twice in his spring debut. Spencer Jones hit a home run so goddamn far that it cleared the roof of the field and nearly hit the nearest highway. The Yankees ended up scoring all but 1 inning and posted 9 runs in the 8th. They had 6 home runs in the game. There was some beer league softball out there. Over the Orioles, Pete Alonso, he's there now. He hit his first home run in his first at-bat with the Orioles. Shohei Ohtani is already freaking back, touching 99 on the gun, rehabbing his arm. So he's going to be back in full swing. Time to do a 2-way roll again, which is just terrifying to think that the other half of Ohtani is going to be around now after they just won the World Series with pretty much, well, he was pitching in it, but, the fullest extent of Ohtani was not there. And then speaking of Dodgers, they have scored 26 total runs in the first 2 Cactus Leagues games. So just, man, picking up right where they left off, scoring 11 runs over 4 innings when they close out their World Series Game 7 run. And then the White Sox. Gotta talk White Sox because they're actually winning baseball games. And the White Sox winning 2 games in spring training, hey, that means something. After their historically bad 2024 season, they actually outscored opponents 19-3 over the weekend, and their top prospect in general, Yerlin Cuero, went 3 for 3 with a double and 4 ribbies, so he's looking nice. My Brewers got a guy named Brandon Lockridge who has hit 1 home run in 160 career bats. He launched one 440 feet. That was awesome. And speaking of moonballs, Pirates' top prospect in the MLB, Connor Griffin. He's out here hitting buildings with his batting practice home runs. And we're talking, this is a guy who the Pirates should not make the same mistake that they did with Paul Skeens, where they tried to manipulate the incentive rule by holding Paul Skeens in AAA long enough to not count it against the salary cap. Pirates are being aggressive with their salary. They've extended to $100 million. They got talent. Bring this dude up. He's young, but he is ready. You got guys like Bryce Harper saying, you would not know this dude is 19 years old. He hit .333 with 21 dingers and 65 stolen bases in his first pro season in the minors. That's a lot of baseball. What's next?
Last but not least, y'all know I love my women's sports. This weekend It was a great weekend of fighting, but I want to send shouts to Claressa Shields, the GOAT, the greatest woman boxer of all time, defeated Franchon Cruz de Zorn in a unanimous decision, 10 rounds, and defending her heavyweight title. Claressa Shields is clearly the undisputed champion in 3 different weight divisions. Listen to this. Claressa Shields went from middleweight, super welterweight, all the way up to heavyweight, and she owns all the belts in all of those divisions. She's a 2-time gold medalist in the Olympics. Claressa Shields clearly put on the show this weekend. And granted, Franchon, you know, she was raised a little bit in Virginia. She's from Baltimore, but was raised in the 757 where I'm from. So I was kind of rooting for her, but I'm a big Claressa Shields fan because she is the greatest female boxer of all time. And she sold the Little Caesar arena out 18,000, a sellout, 18,000 people to watch women boxing. She's taking it to a whole different level, and she's still young. So we got to find some competition for her to fight because she's just cleaning everybody up. I hope Layla Ali take that money that they're offering her to get in the ring for that mega fight against Claressa Shields. Once again, shout out to her for defeating Franchon Cruz this weekend, the GOAT. And I want to send a shout outs to King Ryan Garcia. This was the best I've ever seen him fight. Clearly, he was focused this weekend against Mario Barrio for his first WBC title at 147. And like I said, King Ryan is super popular online, but he hasn't always been focused in meets. He got dropped by Tank Davis. He looked terrible against Romel, but I mean, he came out cut like an eighth of dope, and man, he was focused. I mean, he was the best in shape. I mean, his body was the best in shape that I've seen King Garcia Ryan for fighting. And I mean, he's next big fight, him and Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if you watch boxing, but him and Shakur Stevenson is the next big fight that I want to see because goodness grief, it's going to be on and cracking. There it is.
Wasn't I could be getting my people wrong. Yeah, Ryan Garcia. Wasn't he involved in a lot of weird shit?
Yes, he was about to get cancer. I mean, he had a lot.
He was like dead or some weird shit.
But they say he was kind of partying a lot in the drugs. But this time, he said at the beginning of this camp, he was really focusing on back fighting and his religion. He found his dad. He let his dad come back and train him. His dad was his trainer for like his first 14 fights. Then he got rid of him. So now he brought him back. I'm telling you, this was the best I've ever seen him fight in his whole career. He has a monster left hook, but he used his right hand this whole time. I mean, the quickest hands in boxing right now. So I was impressed to see him come back and win his first world title. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. So I'm excited for what his career is going to go into because he's young. I mean, that's De La Hoya's like predecessor of who's going to be the next Mexican superstar. So, but yeah, but it was a good weekend.
What's his fighting record? I feel like because again, all I remember every time I hear Ryan Garcia,
he's lost to Tank Davis and Romeo Romero. I want to say he's like 27 and 2. Yeah, 27 and 2. But I mean, he can fight though. He just got wrapped up in being cool with Jake Paul and Logan Paul. He was just super. He was into the just being a celebrity and not boxing, so he kind of fell off. But yeah, he was on Twitter saying some wild shit. I'm not going to repeat what he was saying.
I was going to say he was on one.
I'm not going to repeat it. It was wild. He was saying
it was on some stuff. I was he's very popular online to say the least. Yeah, one of those guys who got away from the sport and was just more online focused for a little bit. But speaking of people who are due to impress, we got the NFL Combine coming up this upcoming weekend. And it's always a fun event. Wish I could be there again. I was like a kid in the candy store. The one time I got to go see Aaron Jones run his 40 and all that stuff. That was the year John Ross ran his record 40 at the time. Seeing that, and I was in the Under Armour suite with Kevin Plank, I think his name was. The Under Armour CEO was there, and you weren't allowed to talk about it because he wasn't wearing their shoes. So it was a whole thing, but it was a hell of a thing to witness and be around that event for. But NFL Combine coming up. You guys got your eye on anyone from any position that you want to see take off and really help their draft stock a lot?
Yeah, so every week, and I guess until the draft starts, I'm going to be bringing up guys who prospects who I want to see have a good combine and a good offseason and pro days who might jump them up. I'm going to start at the receiver crew right now. And we're going to start on the defending champions, the Indiana Hoosiers, a guy that everybody's seen play, but I want to see if he can run fast. Omar Cooper, 6 feet, 204 pounds. I mean, he led the Big Ten. Well, no, he was tied for third in the FBS in receiver touchdowns in 2025. He led the Big Tens in yards per reception in 2024. But this is a guy we want to see if he could separate on the next level. If he's going to be able to have a good 40 time, because 40 times, as much as I hate him, the NFL loves them when it comes to the specialty positions, cornerbacks, receivers. They want to see if you can run. So I think he's going to be a guy that I'm keeping my eye on. The second receiver prospect that I'm looking at, and y'all know I don't really like these small guys, but is Makai Lemon from USC, 5'11", 195, ball player. We're talking about a guy that you can kind of compare to JSN in the slot, real shifty guy, great route runner, strong hands, but another guy that I want to see run the 40 to kind of up his stock. Maybe if he can run faster than the 4.45, he'll probably jump off a lot of people's boards, because in 2025, unanimous All-American, the Biletnikoff winner, which is the top receiver in the nation. But once again, like I told you, he's still only 5'11", but he got some girth to him, though. He's like a 5'11" stocky guy. In 2025, he led the Big Ten in yards after catch with 502 yards. So we'll see if the combine is good for these guys so they can jump up on boards, because right now they're ranked 17th and 18th out of all prospects in college. But I want to see these guys run 40s to see if they can be able to separate on the next level.
Yeah, and Omar Cooper, it sucks because you're not going to be able to see his best skill at the combine. He's a rack machine. He breaks tackles like a running back out there. Like, that is what he's great at. He's got the speed, he's got the feed, he's got the burst. He had elite passer rating when targeted. I know people are kind of down on him, like almost, he kind of started, I would say maybe a month ago. Omar Cooper was sitting as, like, most people have him like a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick. Now we're sitting here like, this guy might go halfway through day 2 at this point. Like, I'm like halfway through round 2, not day 2, my bad. So it makes sense. I think if anything, he's climbed above Surratt on the prospect rankings. He's also an underratedly good blocker. He actually just put lots of effort. I was seeing a couple clips of him as a blocker recently, and I love that. That's because my Packers love receivers who like to lay some boom when they're out there blocking. Like I said, his missed tackle rate is among the elites over the last kind of 6-7 years of prospects from the receiver standpoint. So, and obviously we know he can make incredible catches. We all remember the toe tap catch back in the end zone. I mean,
best catches of the season.
That's what I'm saying. He's got great hands. He's kind of a total package guy. I'm telling you, I think he's going to go in round 2. And I think the way his career plays out, I'm like, this guy could have probably went round 1 with what he's doing. Like, he's got a full package. So I love that one. Obviously, Makai Lemon, it's like, he might end up being the first receiver taken. And I agree, like, his combine, what I hate about the combine, and I will always take film over what you do in shorts
for sure.
In between combines. Like, we've seen it burn prospects like Cam Kinchins and Bucky Irving, where the film just pops on these guys, but then what they do in shorts knocks their draft stock back. And it's the same thing with John Ross. John Ross was barely a 1st-round prospect, and he runs that insane time, and he goes, top 10 overall? And we saw how that plays out. I mean, Darius Hayward-Bay, same thing. That was not a 1st-round prospect until he ran fast, and then the Raiders like, well, we need to spend a top 10 pick on this guy. He's so fast. So Makai Lemon's already like a top 10 pick, but why I like let's see how he separates. Will he overcome Jordan Tyson as a top receiver? I think Carnell Tate could still go early as well, but man, Makai Lemon is just another dude. And I've seen some Falcons fans wanting him. If you get London and Lemon on the same team,
that's dangerous. And that's why I say he's a guy with film that if he runs fast, he's going to be the total package, because he has the film and he runs fast. And I mean, it's a lot of good teams who need an extra weapon. That's why I'm with you. both of these guys, I think this is going to be a deep wide receiver class, but I think both of those guys go soon because there's a lot of good teams who's one playmaker away. A few of them are one playmaker away. So Baltimore, god damn.
I mean, if you think about Makai Lemon, you put him up against guys like CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Lab McConkey, Jamar Chase, Luther Burden, guys who in college all had great profiles for not dropping the football. Makai Lemon drops the football even less than these guys.
Yeah.
And he's got a great missed tackle rate. I'm sorry. And then his yards per route run versus zone is like up there with the elites as well. So he's going to be step in. Did you compare him to JSN? Did you say that's where he is? Or
yes,
Omar?
To me, he reminds me of a stockier JSN. If you watch him play, he's just a little bit more physically kind of thick, than JSN. But yes, he reminds me of JSN because he's not too tall. You know, he's 5'11", which if they got him at 5'11", he's probably 5'10" in cleats. But yeah, he's kind of comparable to JSN. I wanted to say Mbuke too, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's and I like the JSN thing because he played almost like 70% of his routes from the slot, but he was also like 28% of the time out wide. So it's just as JSN, like he came out primarily a slot guy, but you can put him out there on wide and he's gonna cook. I think that's really interesting about Makai Lemon to me is he's 21. He didn't have his breakout year until his 21 age season. You know, most guys we're talking about in the top 10 picks had back-to-back, maybe 3 insanely productive seasons. If you're like the first wide receiver off the board type of thing, like Jeremiah Smith is going to be, Jordan Tyson's been great. He's just always been hurt. But, if Jordan Tyson was healthy, well, we're talking about unquestionably.
Yeah, but those guys also had a little better quarterback play. His first USC quarterback play since when Caleb left was kind of like shit pretty bad. So sometimes that can kind of affect your stats and how good you look. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's produced like crazy. Just a great contested catch guy. Now, the one guy I want to call out that I got to see how he tests out here is North Dakota State quarterback Cole Payton. He's a lot of folks are talking about him. And these are the type of things I don't like when guys after the season is over, after everything's said and done, and now we're talking about what you're doing in shorts, and then they start flying up the boards out of nowhere. I get a little red flag on that one. Cole Payton, North Dakota State, one of the most decorated FCS quarterbacks since his, a former teammate, not former teammate, but former Bison, Trey Lance came out. Remember how decorated he was. And Payton really only had this past season where he just blew numbers off the charts type of thing, but I was getting into it. So last season, Cole Payton completed 72% of his passes, an absurd number. He does have a good receiver out there, Bryce Lance, Trey Lance's brother, I believe, as well, which is a crazy thing. He ran for 777 yards with 13 scores, and he had the highest single season big time throw rate from a clean pocket and when blitzed in the last 10 years. And that's FBS and FCS. So he was incredibly good there. And I mean, if you want to compare him to Carson Wentz, for example, so Carson Wentz came out. Remember how Carson Wentz, second overall pick?
It was big time prospect.
Big time. And right, so Carson Wentz had a 7.1% big time throw rate from a clean pocket. Payton, 11.8%. Big difference. And then when blitzed, Payton has a 13.3% big time throw rate when blitzed. Carson Wentz, 2.6%. These are like, and Carson Wentz went second overall. And I know it's different times and everything, but like Payton had a 96 PFF grade, and take PFF what you will, but it's the highest in a single season among FBS and FCS quarterbacks since the stats started tracking in 2014. So he's gone from no one's talking about him to there's legitimate talk that he might be the second quarterback off the board.
And this would be the year for him to jump up the draft because there's not a lot of good guys. And if you look at him, you can see, hey, why did FBS schools kind of miss out on him? He looks good. I just think he's going to get boxed into that. Trey Lance and Carson Wentz were busts at the NFL. So I think a lot of people will be scared to see if he could play on that level at a high level. But I'm with you. If I had to compare him to the other two, just coming out of college, to me, he looks better. He looks better than both of them. I was never big on Carson Wentz. Had a big, strong arm, but I'm just against that big, strong arm shit if you're not accurate. And Trey Lance, I never liked him. I tell people all the time, I'm gonna find that video. I was down on him saying he will be a bust because he just did. And I watched him twice that year. He just didn't do it to me. But this would be the year Payton to come up and be the second quarterback. Because I mean, after Mendoza is like,
yeah, it's
any money mo. It's
exactly.
any money mo. So
he is a lefty. We got to take that into account.
But
he is a lefty.
I hate them too, but
everybody hates a lefty quarterback.
I hate it.
But the dude's 6'3". He's got all the size in the world. He's clearly a great runner. And when I was looking at clips, man, I saw this clip. I couldn't remember the team that they were playing, but he was evading pressure in the pocket, then made this off-balance crossbody throw to a dude but sitting just barely behind double coverage right on the sideline, just dotted it perfectly. And when I'm watching that clip, like, I had no context. It was the first time I ever saw it. I watched it. I was like, that looked like Josh. So that looked like lefty Josh Allen. That was my first thought. And that's like, well, I guess I can kind of see where these people are coming from with this guy. Got to watching more. And I'm with you. I'm skeptical because, again, you got to think about the level of competition he's facing and what they're going up against. And it's a reason why these dudes, especially at that position, don't necessarily translate. You know, the fact that the 49ers didn't get pushed, like they didn't get set back 10 years from what they gave up to get Trey Lance, and like they were still a competitive team, makes me sick. Like, impressive stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to be watching Cole Payton. And if he shows up on those drills, man, there's a chance because Mendoza's only doing his pro day, I believe. He's not participating.
Which I wouldn't even do neither one of them.
Nothing. Well, he's
I'm going to be number one. I'm going to be number one. I showed y'all I won the Heisman. I would not do and granted, the pro day is usually scripted. He's throwing to his guys. They know the patterns, but still, I'm not doing anything because what if he catch the flu 2 days before that? I wouldn't do it. I'm with you. When I know if you're going number one, fuck all that. I come up, show up, do the interviews. Hey, what's going on? Answer your questions, get to the board right. But I wouldn't throw, I wouldn't run, I wouldn't do anything. But talk.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's a lock. Nothing, no matter what he does or doesn't do, nothing's changing. There's no one even from a quarterback perspective in pissing distance of Mendoza. And the Raiders don't have a quarterback. They need a lot, but like Mendoza could go do his pro day, throw 10 straight incompletions, and he's still going to go one overall.
I don't know. That may start making people be like, maybe we need to go with.
Well, I'm just being dramatic here.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Something crazy would have to happen.
But this is what I'm telling you, Austin. Anything's possible, so I wouldn't even take a chance. Hey, I'm going to come interview with you guys, talk. Listen, anything y'all want. I'm just not throwing the football. I've done it already. I've won a national title. I'm the Heisman. Come on. I'm not doing none of that. Listen, and maybe I guess he could throw to kind of help Omar Cooper and them at his pro day look a little better. So I get it. And that what's the other guy, that other receiver is coming out on that side?
Elijah Surratt.
Yeah, he can make his guys look better. So
that's what I think he's going to do too. Yeah. Like he's going to boost both of their stocks by throwing to them at the pro day. Like, he's a good guy, LinkedIn type of guy, good guy.
Yeah.
There's a couple other names that I could rattle through. I won't do it, but Justin Jolly, the tight end out of NC State, is a contested catch machine. Just reminds me he's going to be like Harold Fannin Jr., I bet, with his rookie season. Catches everything. So if he has a nice combine, his stock should go up. Receiver wise, Barrion Brown, LSU, is another one of those dudes who just speed off the charts type speed, but they had the Nussmeier was hurt. LSU's offense was a problem. So when he transferred to LSU, like, he really never got anything going. And this is a guy who freaking put up 10 catches and 145 yards and a touchdown against Georgia when he was playing at freaking Kentucky. So like, he's got all the talent. It just like didn't get showed out at LSU. And so he's projected to go in like the 6th-ish round right now.
Which is going to be a steal, because if you know anything about LSU, they breed receivers down there. So yeah,
he clocked 20.87 miles per hour at the Senior Bowl. Just an absurdly fast time. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then I was watching a bunch of clips. Like, the guy's he can shake you off on a route too. Like, he can dust you pretty quick. So I think he's one of those guys where the ceiling is higher than it appears on face value with him. And I think the combine is going to stand out, and he's going to be one of those guys who's going to run a blazing 40, and he's going to jump up 20 spots or something like that, 20, 30 spots, and make himself a little bit bigger bag in it. So
Nussmeier is going to be my dark horse guy. He's going to be like a Tyler Shuck guy in a few years. That he had an off year, so people kind of like, I don't know. But if you've ever looked at Nussmeier at his best, I think he's going to be one of them dark horse guys. In 2 years, he's going to be a starting quarterback on a good team.
Well, I mean, the dominoes seem to kind of be falling with Malik Willis right now. So I've been seeing a lot like obviously Miami making a huge push because they got Halfley and John Eric Sullivan, both Packer guys who came over this offseason to Miami, and they're making a hard push for Malik Willis. But it sounds like Malik Willis wants to go to the Cardinals. And then like we talked about with the Jets fans, that means Kyler Murray's done, which means who's going to make a move for Kyler Murray? Jets, perhaps. And so I am very curious to see where Nussmeier goes, depending on how the Malik Willis situation shakes out. Nussmeier is going to go to a situation where he could potentially compete for a starting job. I mean, maybe not this year, but maybe next year it's in the conversation. Maybe it's a Thanksgiving thing. So,
sure.
Because he's another guy too. Like he was projected to be in the conversation with Mendoza at the top of this draft, and then he got hurt. LSU fires their coach. Their offense was in shambles all freaking season.
Stinking.
So like the talent is there, man. And if Nussmeier's probably I agree with you, gonna probably end up being a super, super value pick because we know he is better than what was on tape last year. And there's a whole slew of things going wrong. And it should be someone's probably going to get them a damn good quarterback. And
for sure,
he might go round 2, might go round 3, but he might be the 3rd or 4th quarterback, depending on how people feel about Payton, which is crazy to say because he was projected to be one of the first 2 or 3 to go this year before this last season started. But all right, I mean, shoot, otherwise, man, just brutally slow in the NFL. There's just not much to really talk about besides every single person and their grandma giving takes on prospects. So we had to get into the mix on it, of course. I really like Kyle Lewis, the linebacker. I'm blanking on where he goes to school right now. Kyle Lewis. Where does he go to school? Pittsburgh? Yeah, he goes to Pittsburgh. He balled out at the Senior Bowl. He's one of the stickiest in coverage linebackers we've seen in a long, long time. He dominated the Senior Bowl. He's a sideline to sideline type of guy. He was one of the biggest winners coming out of that. And I think he's going to ball out in the drills on the combine too. And he's going to be a big day one impact player. Again, another guy who's probably going to go round 3. Yeah. But he's going to be a day one impact type of guy coming out.
David Bailey's my guy. I love David Bailey. Texas.
You take David Bailey over Ruben Bain. I'm seeing this conversation floating around the internet right now.
I'm going to tell you, and this is something small that people don't look at. This guy don't wear gloves, man. He tapes his face. Something about that says hard nose, grimy, just junkyard doggish. And I know that's the small details, but I mean, stat-wise, if you watch, the stat-wise are equal. And if you watch him play, he jumps off the screen.
He's fast.
I don't know if Ruben Bain, because I don't know, because I think Ruben Bain can play multiple positions, but Bailey, I think he's a better. I don't know. I don't know if I want to say he's a better pass rusher. I'm telling you, playing with no gloves. When I see guys play with no gloves, I'm like, that's the guy I want in my trenches. He's a go hard person. I mean, tape the fingers like Tim Brown. Listen,
no gloves.
I mean, you got to be a fucking savage, a Viking. So
a little bit of a madman.
Yeah, whatever teams he on, I think he's gonna get a lot of time and a lot of plays early because he just looks like he goes hard. And if you watch him, he takes no plays off. No plays off.
It shows, but his pressure rate by season for the last 3 seasons is above 20. It's above 20% each of the last 3 seasons. So last year, his pressure rate was 20.2%. That was the best in college football, but it was the 3rd best for David Bailey over the last 3 years. That's how good this guy is at getting to the freaking quarterback, man. And he's a big reason. Obviously, they have Romello Hyde on the other side. They got Gil Howard in the middle of that defensive line. They had defensive line talent out the wazoo.
Yeah.
And the only reason that concerns me is because how many times have we seen, maybe not recently, but over like the last 10-ish years, where Clemson had all these stacked defensive lines, and it's hard to really decide who is the needle mover of that group. I think David Bailey definitely does stand out a bit in this one, but like it's a Clemson thing that's always living in the back of my head because they're always loaded with talent. Maybe one of them pans out. Like Clelin Ferrell didn't pan out. He was for sure thing. Miles Murphy didn't pan out. Christian Wilkins. Like the list goes on with all these Clemson these pass rushers that just don't really pan out in the NFL for the most part to the extent that people think. So it'll be interesting to see how Romello Height, David Bailey, Gil Howard all pan out coming out of this draft. And
they got one of the best linebackers in the nation too.
Jacob Rodriguez too. Yeah,
four of those guys going to be drafted. So,
and I don't get why Jacob Rodriguez is not talked about higher in the draft than he is too. Like everything, every box is getting checked there, man. And I know it's one of those guys, and people say like, is he a big safety type of guy? And I'm just like, no NFL team in their right mind is moving this guy to safety. Just watch the tape. Let's not overthink this one with this guy. It's kind of where I'm at with Jake Rodriguez.
Dallas better not. And once again, these guys is from Texas. Yes, he's going to be a late rounder, but Dallas needs a linebacker. He's the guy that you're going to – because I think Fisher may go before him, but listen, he's going to be a football player. I don't care how big, small he is. And you got to think in the NFL now, the linebackers are smaller because they have to move, but he's a ball – put him in Chicago. Chicago had all these turnovers. You know what I'm saying? He's the turnover guy catch picks. He get fumbles. Like he's a turnover guy at linebacker. So, I mean, listen, he's going to be a ball player. So,
yeah, I like him. And he's probably not going to be one of those guys he's probably going to be like the third, fourth, fifth linebacker off the board, to be honest, which is kind of wild when you consider he was in the Heisman running for a really good reason. He was the people's Heisman this past year. And the last thing on David Bailey is like, again, yeah, he's got the whole pass rush package, but I know the concerns are going to be around like the character stuff, and he's had some altercations, and I mean that's the only thing the team are going to take. Nothing like bad, like to like he's not some Georgia dude. You know the thing with Georgia players is always getting tickets and dumb shit off the field, like none of that stuff. But he's not. He is your pass rusher. He's not like a run defense guy, and this is why I'm putting Bain over him. Ruben Bain is the whole package. And said, you can put him in 4 or 5 different spots on that defensive line. He's going to be an asset against the run. He's going to be obviously an asset pass rushing. So, I mean, Bain to me is still the no doubt. He should go number 2. I just, as much as I like Arvo Reese too, like putting Bain ahead of him. And I don't know. I'm starting to see people even put Romello Height way up there. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm curious to see how this all shakes out. I love the combine time. I love to see the narratives that come out of it. I just cannot stand when what you do in shorts ends up mattering more than what you do on tape. I cannot stand that. And I strongly urge the NFL fan population right now to please watch the tape.
Look at tape
before you judge what the guy does in shorts. I do not give a shit if your 40 time is 0.5 seconds slower than the next guy if your tape is objectively far better. Again, Bucky Irving, one of the best missed tackle rates in college football in a long, long time, had a terrible combine, and he slips down the draft because of it for no dang reason. Same with Cam Kinchins, projected to be a first-round pick, has a bad combine, slips a whole bunch, comes to the Ram, and what happens? You see the tape version of Cam Kinchins where he's a great safety for them almost immediately. So I just heed caution with watching the combine. People get fooled too easily on this shit, man. Too easily.
And I think it's not natural speed too. So I mean, I've trained guys like 4 years ago for the combine, and literally we worked 40-yard dash 3 days a week for 6 weeks. So it's like you're actually not really that fast. I'm just teaching you techniques on start and a little bit of push and acceleration, where to put your feet, low heel recovery, so you can take advantage of the first 3 steps. I mean, so a lot of that is kind of like if they get with a real track guy, you're going to kind of run fast regardless. If you literally, we worked it 3 days a week for like 6 weeks. That's all they did with me is 40, 40, 40 from the stance to the first 3 steps and acceleration phase and positioning. So we'll see. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I like fast guys. I think fast speed. They don't say size kill. They don't say agility kill. They say speed kill. So I get it. But I'm with you, man. Put the tape on. Some of these guys are just ballers. Who cares who can broad jump 10 feet? I mean, who
Yeah.
gives a fuck?
Maybe use it as a tiebreaker. Maybe like it should maybe bump you up a little bit, but it shouldn't. We should not be talking like it shouldn't have the John Ross, Darius Hayward Bay effect where you jump up an entire round because your 40 time is blazing, but you don't got the tape to match it. Like it's just one of those things that's just always just been a mad pet peeve of mine. But all right. Before we leave the show today, we got to get into a little bit of baseball. We had quite a bit of basketball there in the top 10 and 10. We got a little bit of football. The only thing we can really talk about with football right now, we'll find more to get back into some recurring themes of some football chatter to keep it going into 2026. We'll pick back up on the X Factor stuff and whatnot. And of course, once teams start to settle down with their draft picks and free agency, we'll kind of start getting into stacking folks and teams. But a team we talked about a lot last year because of Kyle Raleigh, because of the MVP race, we had a lot of contention online between him and Aaron Judge because we were both Kyle Raleigh guys. So the very end, and I know I started leaning towards Aaron Judge more than you, I think. But hey, are the Mariners equipped to run it back and prove that Kyle Raleigh's 60 home run season and all the success they had last year was not some lightning in a bottle? Can they actually run it back? Are they equipped to run it back, or are they going to regress while the rest of the AL gets too tough? Do you have any thoughts? Or you want me to kick it off?
You can kick it off.
All right. Well, here's where it starts. They still got Cal Raleigh, obviously. So that's a big step one check right there. But we have to be honest. He's going to regress, almost certainly regress. I mean, he's been really good. That season, to the extent of his career so far, is an outlier season. And maybe he will do it again, but the expectation has to be regress. Now, where I'm excited about and why I think it's going to be really, really possible for the Mariners to run this whole thing back, all 7 pitchers who made multiple starts for them in 2025 are returning this season. They're young pitching staff. They're under contract group. They got no worries right now thinking about free agency or anything besides. They're just thinking about winning baseball games. Obviously, they got Brian Wu, who is a top 5 AL Cy Young candidate. Logan Gilbert is another guy in his own regards, a great pitcher at the top of their lineup. Luis Castillo, George Kirby. Like their whole pitching rotation is stacked. The problem is those guys got hurt. And the problem is after them, it's a little bit scary in terms of, obviously the very end of their bullpen is set with the closer and everything, but the middle bullpen stuff can get a little shaky at times. But a healthier version of this rotation, like if they stay healthy and enter the playoffs healthy, I think we're talking sky's the limit when you have one of the best rotations in baseball. You have Julio Rodriguez, like literally about to enter his prime. A lot of folks talking about him as a favorite for MVP already. You re-signed Josh Naylor to a 5-year deal after bringing him in last year to be that get-on-base guy in the middle of your lineup. You acquire Brendan Donovan in a 3-team trade, and this is a guy who's coming off his own first team or his first All-Star selection after hitting 287, 10 homers, 32 doubles, a career best – or sorry, he's got a career 361 on-base percentage, which if now you're putting that above Julio and Cal and Naylor in the lineup, that's dangerous as hell, and that's something the Mariners have really been missing out on. And so now their lineup has got pretty much 5 dudes and their first 6 hitters who realistically could be all-stars this year between Donovan, Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Josh Naylor, and Randy Rosarena. So, and who cares if they lost to Eugenio Suarez? He didn't do shit when he came back over. So that's kind of, I'm a believer. I'm saying yes, that the Mariners will get back. They will dominate again. I really think this is the year for the Mariners. I really think that they can make the World Series with what they have and what they're going into and the camaraderie they have and the what they're returning and where those returning guys are at in their careers. I don't think last season was a flash in the pan. I think they can go further this year, to be honest.
Listen, the energy in Seattle is already on the up and up because y'all just got that Lombardi trophy. So hopefully that can leak into that stadium up the street. I disagree just with Cal Raleigh. I think he's going to have a better year this year. And only I'm saying because you have to feel pissed off that me and Austin said you should have been MVP. We call all the shots. We be on point with shit. We thought you should have won. You should be pissed off that it was a popularity contest. And granted, not taking away Judd had a good year, but come on, he won because of the stripes. You deserved it. You earned it because you play both sides. Defense, catching, and batting. You had it all. You was the full package. So I think you got to be pissed off this year. And granted, 60 some home runs. Maybe not there, but I think he will improve far as batting average and all the things that Judge was a little better than him in. So I think he'll improve in those. And finally, he can get his MVP because I think he's going to be pissed off that they disrespected him last year. And I mean, I think he'll go on a 3 to 4 year run. So hopefully,
I love it.
I want to see him get back to where he was last year. And like I said, I just want to see him be better because he deserved that MVP, and I want him to get what he deserved this year. So we'll see. I listen, too early to call, but I think I'm with you. They're going to have a chance. They're going to have a real good chance.
And I really think the regression will come in the form of home runs. That's because I think what's around him, again, like adding Donovan, bringing back Naylor, the top of their first 6 guys in their lineup are, I mean, that's tough. You can't like work around anyone and whatnot. Like you kind of gotta, you don't want to try to like walk anyone to get to this guy. You got to get through 6 damn good batters in that lineup. And that makes it much harder to kind of try to work around Cal. Whereas like, all right, we'll just walk Cal. It's like, oh shoot, well, now we got Arozarena, or now we got Naylor. Oh shoot, well, now we got Julio Rodriguez. However they're structuring the lineup. Like the lineup is stacked. I mean, and they got Dominic, I'm forgetting his name, Calzone. How you doing? Calzone, I don't remember his name. Yeah, how you doing? But he was a great DH for them, hit dang near 300 for them. So like they got the hitters on that lineup, man. And I think I can see Cal Raleigh's like, hitting numbers improving and, the on base improving, maybe regression to home runs a little bit, but I'm pushing Big Dump for MVP. I think they have another MVP candidate in Julio Rodriguez. He's coming off of his second 30-30 season and he's just starting his prime. Like he's still so young. I think Julio really, this could be the year where we see the Julio Rodriguez breakout that he's been really good. He's been awesome. He's had a couple steps backwards, but he's taken some steps forward. But I think this year could be the year where he breaks out. And I'm not talking 33. I'm talking a 40-40 season in the middle of that lineup, right before or after Cal Raleigh hitting 40-50 dingers himself with, 2 guys who should have 100 RBIs for that team this year. I think the Mariners are going to be weak.
Yeah, that's going to be dangerous. If you saying they're going to do that, ooh-wee.
I mean,
that's going to be dangerous.
And they, like I said, you have the pitching rotation. You have the pitching staff. You got Andre Munoz, one of the best closers in baseball, closing it out for you. So I think the Mariners are my World Series favorite out of the AL right now, just today. I'm putting that on paper. I don't care if the Mets just went out and spent a fortune. I don't care if the Yankees still got the Yankees machine rolling. I don't care if the Tigers are investing on the ups and ups in themselves. I don't care about the Blue Jays having just been in the World Series. I think the Mariners are the most complete on paper pitching staff, top of lineup. Even the bottom of their lineup's good. They got good coaching. Like, sign me up for Mariners. I'm calling my shot right now, and I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm saying that they're my favorite for the MVP. They're my favorite for the
World Series. Yeah,
World Series out of the AL this year.
I'm gonna wait a couple more weeks to throw my shot up there, but I'm gonna wait a couple weeks for to throw my shot up there, but we'll see.
Okay, I just feel good about it, man, and of course I'm picking the Brewers in the NL to run it all the way up too. Like I'm just picking my 2 teams right now, but I think there's a little bit actual more real validity to the Mariners and where they're at. They're peak. I think they're ascending still. Last season was not the best version of them. They improved. They got rid of Polanco. They got rid of Suarez, which is both are just fine guys to move off of. Not going to hurt you that much, as nice as Polanco was in the playoffs for him. But all right, last thing before we close out the show today. We kind of been doing some segments and stuff. So why don't we talk about like a kind of new segment that we'll do with football as well, but with baseball, we got to talk about the most intriguing player at each position, kind of going around the base paths, the pitching rotations. We got to start at first base, the power hitting spot. A lot of superstar power at first base. Kind of guys that you're most intrigued to see how their season plays out this year from the one bag position. You got any guy on top of your mind?
I hate to say it, man. I want to see the boy wonder get back to his stardom. Bryce Harper, that's a guy who everybody's sleeping on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're sleeping on, saying he's not elite anymore. I just seen him on the Bus Boys the other day doing the interview, and he kind of sounds motivated. And granted, he did have an off season last year. I mean, he had a 261 batting average. I mean, he was 27 home runs, 75 RBIs, which were lower than he had in 2024. So
Yep.
you can say he's digressing to not being elite anymore, but I think he's motivated to get back to what he was. I mean, because at his peak coming into the major leagues, he was a rock star. I mean, and you know me being in the DMV area, him playing in Washington, I mean, it was everything. Bryce Harper around here. So
Everything. Every magazine cover.
And I'm a big Bryce Harper fan, so it's kind of more biased that I want to see him kind of get back to the boy wonder status and have a great season. So that's my pick for right now. Bryce Harper, I want to see you get back. Let's just get the 30 home runs this year. Let's just get back to 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. Let's kind of bat a little bit above 280 because I want to say the last time he bat above 280 was at 2024. He's 285, then 293 in 2023, and 286, 309. So, yeah, I mean, man, what the hell happened? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. I think what's crazy is so when you're coming into the season after your president of your team says you are not elite or you didn't have an elite season, that's a wild thing to say to your star player who's still one of the better players on your team. But I get why he said it. Bryce Harper hit 260 for the first time since 2020, which definitely a down year, only 72 runs scored. So it was a down year. It was not an elite season, but he still got elite traits. And when you get into the analytics, there's still a lot of elite pop in his game. And I love that he's showing up in the batting cage with a shirt that says not elite. Specific, like you're in a feud to start the season with your team president. I'm all about that. And I can't wait to see how he plays, to see who's right on this one. And that's motivating him. And yeah, it is crazy to think about the fact that he's 33. It feels like yesterday I was looking at 17-year-old Bryce Harper on every magazine cover about the next great, Hall of Fame player at 17 years old, skipping high school to go play college ball, types like JUCO ball, like just crazy. It feels like yesterday, and here we are talking about him at 33 years old. Is time flies, man. That's a crazy thing, but I love that one. I'm gonna stick with my home a little bit here with the Milwaukee Brewers because they themselves caught maybe a flash in the pan with Andrew Vaughn. I'm very intrigued to see if Andrew Vaughn lasts what he did last season when he was traded from the White Sox, that dumpster fire, over to the Brewers, and then he lit the league on fire when he came over. He played 64 games for the Brewers last year. He hit 308 with 9 homers, 46 RBIs, was one of the hottest, most clutch hitters in baseball the entire second half of the year after the trade, ranked among the top 10 at first baseman and batting average over that span. The dude was on pace for 116 RBI season if he would have just had the whole season stretch with the Brewers, which is top 5 numbers among first basemen. And the big change is the Brewers managed to fix his swing discipline, which was dragging him back tremendously in Chicago, as if it's almost like the coaching staff in Chicago was actively avoiding fixing the fact that this guy's got all these discipline problems. And look at the results. He was terrible. We're talking about a guy who was a former top pick, a former top prospect that Chicago just completely wasted, did not fix the fundamentals that he had to get right. The Brewers did. And then he goes off to flash all the potential, this is the guy who was dropped at top 3 by the White Sox. Now it makes sense. He's got a home run this spring. And I don't think it'll be a fluke because he's now entering his prime. I think he's 28. So, he's in his prime year windows to have another good, really good 2-3 type year seasons at least. And I'm just really intrigued to see if that one works out, man. I think it's all there. He's in a really good lineup, in a good spot of the lineup. Obviously, I think the Brewers scored the 3rd most runs last year. So there's all the potential in the world that he keeps up with this RBI track that he was on. But I'm going to be really intrigued to see if it was more of a half-year thing, new environment, or if this is a long-term thing with Andrew Vaughn. And obviously, hitting as a righty in Miller Park is a hell of an advantage. And so he's in a really good spot there. He crushes baseballs at American Family Field. So intrigued to see if that one's going to play out. But I do like Bryce Harper too. But yeah, some other guys just on the top of my head that I want to just give the honorable mention to is Sal Stewart of the Reds. He's a young guy, just he's turning 22, top prospect. Then you got Jonathan Aranda of the Rays. He's got the classic type of case where he just had an insane year, hitting 300 last year. He's got free agency coming up. And then you got guys like Spencer Torkelson of the Tigers with coming off a 31 home run season improved everything from his hard hit rate ball to exit velo, his barrel rate, and his lowered his swinging strike rate. Like everything improved from 2024 to 2025 with him. He had a huge, I mean, he's gone through all the career arcs already from a guy who was the first overall pick. He struggled, he got demoted, he rebounded, and now he's kind of on that like, oh, I'm here now at the age of 26, and seems like it's all uphill for him to the extent that he might finish this year he could finish this year as a top 5 first baseman in terms of hitting.
And he still got a lot of time. 26 is young. So, and the major leagues is the major leagues. People think when you're young, you can just get there and do what you've been doing. But those guys are the elite of the elitists. So it just takes some time to kind of figure things out.
Yeah, no. And you know what's crazy about baseball, man, is I was kind of digging into Torkelson a little bit and saw that he increased his swing path tilt from 33 degrees in 2024 to 40 degrees in 2025. And that sounds like a really stupid thing, but it was the single biggest swing path change that was measured of any hitter in baseball last year. And his swing substantially improved, like tremendously improved. And when we're talking about the matter of 7 degrees, that sounds like such a minute thing, but in baseball, it means like the world. It's a crazy thing.
So, and I don't think people talk about it a lot. To me, in all professional sports, I think hitting in baseball is the hardest skill to throwing the football. I can teach a 5-year-old to throw a football and throw a 5-year-old out. I'm telling you, basketball, I've seen some of the worst athletes be able to shoot. Hitting a baseball to me is the hardest skill to develop at the highest level, especially when you got so many different pitchers and all of that. So as minute as they think that's 5 degrees, no, that matters because hitting the baseball is hard.
I mean,
super hard.
I mean, you got this Guardians pitcher who's out there. He's throwing underhand one pitch, sidearm one pitch, and then he's throwing overhand the next pitch. And like he's doing this in spring training, and you're seeing these professional batters timing completely off, and he's not even throwing 90 miles an hour. But when you start talking about like the fact that you got pitches dropping over a foot from the time it leaves the hands, and it might look like it's going to come at your head, but then it finishes at the below your knees on the other side of the plate. Or you just got to hit this little ball that's going 101 miles an hour that's zipping at you off a dude who's standing 8 feet tall on a mound, and he's just reaching the ball to the glove, and you got
coming right
like
down.
You got
split second reaction.
That you need to
split second.
You need to know if you're swinging that fast. There is no sport that requires you to have that quick of a reaction and instinct to decide I am swinging, I am not swinging, I am doing this, I am not doing this, than hitting a baseball. Especially when now we're talking about where baseball's at with the speed all these dudes are throwing it and the movement plus speed that we've never seen in the sport before. You cannot convince me with your dying breath of whatever you put in front of me that there is something harder to do in sports than hitting a baseball.
I don't think
I've never seen a good argument for it.
Maybe a marathon, but other than that, I don't see any fucking thing harder than hitting. And like you said, in this day, everybody's throwing 90 to 100 miles per hour. Everybody's doing that now. Everybody's throwing hard and fast. So, yeah. Before we leave, though, quick question. You think Bryce Harper lived up to the hype?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I guess if the answer is no to that, what else would he have had to do? Is my question. Because I mean, if we want to go through the Bryce Harper stat line, I mean, he's not a guy who has been a perennial like 300 hitter. So in that sense, I could see the argument that he hasn't lived up to the, elite hitting metrics in that sense, but he's always, I mean, for a good chunk of his career, a tops and RBI guy, a crap load of hits, a lot of runs scored, obviously a ton of home runs. I don't know. Why do you think he hasn't?
Because he kind of had that LeBron thing coming in. So they was just thinking he was going to kind of be that level, Barry Bonds kind of level to me. Yeah. So no. Well, I don't want to say no, he underachieved because he's played 13, 14 years in the MLB. So I don't want to shit on that. He's played at a high level for a long time, but once again, like Joy, no World Series titles. He has not won. So I think we thought he was going to come to Washington and really bring us one. We just thought he was going to bring us one. We just thought he was going to bring us one. So if not winning the title, maybe he's kind of didn't live up to that. So
I mean,
but
that's
individual, not.
That's fair. I mean, this when he came out like 17, 18 years old, I mean, he was tabbed the next phenom of the sport. And he has been great, certainly. But when you're like touted the way he was touted coming out, you are expecting Barry Bonds. You are expecting these insane Hall of Fame numbers. You're expecting like 500 home runs at this point in his career type of thing, even though he's only 33. But, we're talking about a guy who's only hit 30 plus home runs 5 times in his career. Like I said, he's not really been an average hitter to the extent that you would hope throughout his career. 280 is an amazing average in the MLB. But when you're talking about a guy who was touted as the next greatest hitter in the sport, Mike Trout's been far better than Bryce Harper. It's not even been close. Not even close. And, Bryce Harper, that doesn't negate he's had incredible years of on-base percentage and slugging and OBP and hard contact. Right? None of that changes. So, the advanced analytics with Bryce Harper are still awesome. But the face value things that most casual fans care about have been very good, but not this guy was obviously a phenom coming out and he lived up to phenom status. Like you said, hasn't won a championship. He does have 2 MVPs, so he certainly hasn't not lived up to it. I would kind of agree. I don't think he lived up to the potential to the fullest extent that I think people probably thought he would. But that's also,
and he still got time. 33 is young. Yeah. I know he's been in the league a long time, but 33 is young. So
he's played a lot of damn ball. He's got 1,050 RBIs.
He made a lot of money.
A lot of damn money. A lot of money. But yeah, man. I mean, not fully. 14 years of service, 363 home runs, and a 280 average with a.
Because you just got to kind of go back. Nobody really had that push coming out of high school like him. I just never seen the promo train for nobody in the past 15, 20 years like he had it. And maybe I'm off a little bit, but I mean, when he was out there, everybody it was a push for him. And like I said, I'm in the DMV area, so I wanted him to bring us one, but
yeah. I mean, I think his numbers definitely could be better, and it's not. Nothing of this is a knock on Bryce Harper. His numbers could definitely be better.
Sure.
Again, give me give me Mike Trout, and his numbers, just not his health, please, all day. I mean, if Mike Trout's healthy, now that is what
he might be one of the greatest of all time.
It's Ken Griffey 2.0 with Mike Trout, man. We'll never know what the numbers could have been, but we very well know that they had a real chance of being all-time elite of the greatest numbers you would ever seen out of home runs, everything, batting average. Mike Trout's career when healthy is what I think people thought Bryce Harper would do. If that makes
I can go with I go with that one then. That's a good comparison. Yeah.
Mike Trout, man. Holy shit, do I love Mike Trout. All right, that's another episode of Chalk Talk Social. Until next
before we go to Austin, rest in peace to Rondell Moore and his family. Super sad. I hate to end it like that. But more of our guys need to start getting some help, mental, talking to somebody, just reaching out to somebody, finding somebody just who can understand what you're going through. 2 guys in the NFL this year, young guys, just self-transitioning is so sad. And I'm just praying for all the young guys coming in the league with so much expectation, money, and just so much pressure on your shoulder. Mm-hmm. Find somehow to get peace in what you're doing and get help if you're going through some things. Reach out. I know we say it all the time. Don't have to be scared to reach out to say you need help. So I just wanted to say rest in peace and praying for his family and everybody who loved him.
Yeah, absolutely. It sucks, man. And, I'm sure the injuries took a big toll on him, knowing he didn't get where he wanted to get to in his career. And I'm sure that weighed mentally on him. And I'm sure people had comments around fantasy football that didn't help either, especially in the betting world, man. I mean, hey, I'm not trying to say anything about you. Not Iman. I'm not, this is not directed. But
listen, I hope I'm not running people to I'm gonna stop.
You know, in the world that we live in, where gambling and betting is taking over in fantasy football, this is everything. You know that there's a lot more violent comments and pressure going out there when dudes don't perform to the extent that these people betting money or betting their fantasy teams on them want them to. Yeah. That's a ridiculous thing to have to say. That's ridiculous.
No, but it's real. It's real. It's real.
And I'm sure Randall Moore probably heard some of it, man. And that sucks. But I'm sure the injuries also play a lot. So yeah, all the best to his family, that everyone, gets right. And, hopefully everyone is doing okay given the circumstances. It's a really shame. Yep. And I still can't believe ESPN used an image of not him on their coverage. Did you see that?
Yes, like,
man.
And I get it. They're trying to get in front of things, and the graphic guys just probably a few guys. Yeah, but that's kind of disrespectful to his
that's
family.
Crazy.
I just hate for him to have to see that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right. No, good call out. Yeah. All right. Until Friday. Y'all have a great rest of the week. We'll see you.